Welcome, folks. I am Jabby Kaway, and we're going to look at this together, the Batman deleted Arkham scene. I am late, but better late than even later. Thanks for joining me anyway. Even though most of you have already seen it, either on its own or through other reaction videos, I appreciate you being here. Please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up so that YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go. Let's jump into this. Full disclosure for those of you who haven't seen it yet, I am a big fan of the Batman. I put out a non-spoiler and a spoiler review, and check them out if you can.
Present. Almost our anniversary, isn't it?
There's a serial killer. I want your perspective.
First anniversary is paper. What makes you think I come so cheap?
I thought you'd be curious.
You think I could offer this stuff?
Don't you?
You have pictures. It's violence. It's so baroque. Oh, he likes little puzzles, doesn't he? So meticulous. Like he's been planning this his whole life. I know who he is.
Oh. Who is he?
He's a nobody. Wants to be somebody. The mayor, the commissioner. Yeah. He's got ambition.
You think his motive is political?
Oh, no. This is very personal. He feels these people have all wronged him. Probably goes way back. Unhealed wounds, stolen lunch money.
Why is he writing to me?
Maybe he's a fan of yours? Or maybe he's got a grudge against you too. Maybe you're the main course. Any theories?
Not yet.
Really? You're normally so ahead of the curve. But something is different this time. This is very upsetting to you.
Let's get back to him.
Why? You're so much more fun.
I'm not here to talk about me.
What are you here to talk about?
I want to know how he thinks.
You know exactly how he thinks. Have you read this file? You two have so much in common. Masked Avengers. So he's even more righteous. Oh, are you afraid he makes you look soft?
You're wasting my time.
I'll tell you what I really think. I think you don't really care about his motives, whether he loves or hates you. I think somewhere deep down, you're just terrified. Because you're not sure he's wrong, huh? You think they deserved it, huh? You think they deserved it.
If that was in the movie, I would have been more okay with the Joker scene that comes later on in the film. That was my one big complaint with the Batman. Now, having since watched the film twice and seen a number of reviews, both positive and negative, and then a pitch meeting on top of that, getting a wide variety of perspectives on the film, I can see what the flaws are in the Batman, but I still really, really appreciate it. Except for that Joker scene. That Joker scene still bothered me even, after all this time, because no matter what the reasons were that Matt Reeves had intended, whether a sequel was planned or not, because that is still up for debate. I know that a number of you were like, no, he never planned a sequel, this was for something, and whatever. I didn't like that scene because it felt like it was sequel bait. If they included this scene, that would have helped a lot and it not feel like sequel bait. Or at least it would have mitigated that feeling quite a bit, because then it's not just one scene with the Joker. I really like this idea a lot. I also suffered from what I could only call the Bane effect, because when Bane was first shown in The Dark Knight Rises, I could hardly understand what he was saying sometimes, even after the redub where they made his voice more clear. There was instances where I was like, I wish I understood everything he was saying, because I know what he's saying is important. I'm only getting half of the data that I need out of this, because I'm listening with headphones, mind you, and I'm like, what was he saying? And so some of it's just getting lost. I liked the physicality of, I forgot the name of the actor. He's shown up a lot. I just watched him in, I think, Chernobyl recently too. And he was also in The Green Knight, The Eternals. I forgot the name of this dude, but y'all know who I'm talking about. The guy who played the Joker. While I like his physicality and I like the makeup they did on him, I liked his laugh here at the end way more than I did in the final product in the Batman. There's something that is just, I cannot help but compare to, I mentioned this in my reviews, very honestly, I cannot help but compare to Heath Ledger and to Mark Hamill, like to the what I consider the OG Jokers at this point, right? Now, I know that there are a number of people who at the time were like, well, that's not really Joker, but to me, it's like that is the definitive Joker. But the Mark Hamill more cartoony version, and then the Heath Ledger more, I guess, grounded version of the Joker, if you will. I almost wish Matt Reeves took a chance at casting a much older Joker and just use Mark Hamill. Like, how cool would that be? I mean, maybe that's too much fan service. But this is, Matt Reeves' objective with the Batman was to take things in a more grounded, different direction. And I suppose that he achieved that here. This definitely feels... I almost feel like I would need to watch the scene like a few more times to really make up my feeling about how I felt about this Joker, because it's so new to me. You really got a good look at him here versus what we got in the final product, right? I really, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the discussion part of this video, I really, really like this idea a lot of, it adds to the history of the Batman in the Batman's world in Gotham City, because one of the great things about the Batman is that it really felt like there was history there. Like when you watch Game of Thrones, it feels like there was like hundreds of years of history before the story starts. And it feels like there was definitely like at least 30 years of history before our story starts in the Batman. And it gives it a sense of it being more fully realized and just three-dimensional, right? And so having this with the Joker, I think that actually helps quite a bit. I think it helps it gives it a more sense of, wow, this thing has been going on for a while, like Batman's adventures here in Gotham City. Adventures is a weird word to use, but you get what I'm saying, I hope. I like, referencing that. This is actually quite classic in that Batman would go to the Joker and try to talk to him in an effort to better understand who he's dealing with now. A new suspect, a new bad guy, a new villain. I feel like this is totally something Batman would do, and it almost makes me sad that this was not included. I feel like this really should have been in the movie. I think we could have stomached 5 more minutes to have this scene. I understand why they cut it out, because it was already a long movie, and it's not really adding anything to the story other than Joker's presence, other than an understanding that Batman has been doing this for a while, and he has, locked up supervillains, if you will, before. For that, it would have been cool to have, but in terms of like the story being focused on in the movie, it's not really moving the plot along any further. It's a slow scene, as is a lot of the movie anyway, but it is a slow scene and might have just slowed down the story even more, and so I can see why it was taken out, but I think that we would have all forgiven those 5 minutes to have that. or perhaps it would have distracted from the rest of the film, and perhaps putting the Joker at the end, as much as I didn't like that, was the best way to go, because then it's not distracting from the rest of the story that's going on with Batman and Riddler, because maybe the entire time we're expecting Joker to come out of that jail scene and be part of the, bad guy's adventures. Maybe it would create more disappointment if the Joker scene was in there, and that's why it was taken out. Who knows what the reasons were? I'm sure we'll get a DVD commentary or something at some point really detailing why it was removed. I can't wait to hear that personally, because I enjoyed the Batman so darn much. I think that it was such a well-crafted film. It's like definitely one of my favorite Batman movies of all time. This Joker thing is just a weird spot for me emotionally with the movie, because I'm like, I think that I would have just rather there not been Joker at all, perhaps. But if you're gonna have the Joker, I feel like it would have been better with this scene. I'm still I'm still straddling the fence hard on this one, because I don't know how to feel about it, especially because in this Joker scene, I was having a hard time hearing him sometimes. I was just like, well, I don't know what he's saying. I just legit don't know. Like, I'm trying so hard to hear everything. And I got the gist of it. I got the most important parts, which is essentially what happens when you watch a Nolan film. It's like the music's just crescendoing over all the important dialogue. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting half of this right now. And that's kind of what was happening here, but it had nothing to do with music. I just couldn't understand him. He was like mumbling through half of the, he's behind the glass and everything like that. But the actor who's playing Joker, irrespective of how I feel about his particular Joker, he's a damn good actor. He's a really, really good actor. I've watched him multiple times now, and so I understand why he was chosen for this role. He's a very, very good, I said it 8 times now, he's a good actor. So anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed doing this with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the reaction discussion. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit that bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Hopefully you are. I am Jabby Kaway. Peace out.